miles, and only Hyundai really knows how to say sales advance. Drive a Hyundai Sonata with more
MPG and double the warranty of Camry. And right now, you'll get up to $3,500 in additional savings. Discover what only Hyundai can say. Visit your Pacific Northwest Hyundai dealers today.
New World News. Tonight, sudden switch. The president changes his mind about releasing photos of detainee abuse in Iraq and Afghanistan. High drama. Atlantis snags the Hubble telescope and begins its delicate and dangerous repair mission. Food fight. The government takes aim at popular foods that claim they're good for your health. And rising rate, a startling statistic on the number of babies being born to unmarried mothers.
From ABC News headquarters, this is World News with Charles Gibson.
Good evening. It has been a very difficult issue for the president, one with which he has wrestled for a long time. A month ago, the White House announced it would release photos showing U.S. soldiers abusing detainees in Iraq and Afghanistan. A federal court had ordered the White House to do so. The White House said it would comply. But today, a presidential about-face. Contrary to his earlier position, the president now says he will fight release of the pictures. Jake Tapper is at the White House. Jake?
Good evening, Charlie. Well, that's right. A month ago, the Obama administration said it would hand those photographs over to the ACLU, and today's announcement was a complete 180.
The White House originally said releasing the photographs would not put U.S. troops in harm's way. Today, the president said the opposite.
The most direct consequence of releasing them, I believe, would be to further inflame anti-American opinion and to put our troops in greater danger.
On Capitol Hill today, Defense Secretary Robert Gates said top commanders in Iraq and Afghanistan lobbied passionately that more photographs like the infamous snapshots from Abu Ghraib would increase the probability of violence against U.S. troops and serve as a recruiting tool for terrorists.
Our commanders, both General McKiernan and General Odierno, have expressed very serious reservations about this and their very great worry that release of these photographs will cost American lives. That was all it took for me.
Last week, the president told White House counsel Greg Craig to prepare new legal arguments that releasing the photographs would harm national security. An about-face that devastated officials of the ACLU, who thought they had an ally in the White House on issues of transparency about detainee abuse and torture.
If you hide under the rug all of these photographs of prisoner abuse, you essentially insulate the government from accountability.
The president said that those abusing detainees in the pictures had already been investigated and dealt with appropriately.
It's therefore my belief that the publication of these photos would not add any additional benefit to our understanding of what was carried out in the past by a small number of individuals.
On this, at least, he seems to have arrived at the same position as one of his harshest critics, former Vice President Dick Cheney, who's been vocally protesting many of Mr. Obama's counterterrorism policies, including releasing these pictures.
Now he's making some choices that, in my mind, will in fact raise the risk to the American people of another attack.
Charlie, a source close to the president tells ABC News that the bottom line for him was that he feared releasing these photographs at such a critical time in both Iraq and Afghanistan would unleash anti-U.S. sentiment. This weighed very heavily on him, the source said. Charlie?
All right, Jake Tapper at the White House tonight. Thanks. And our chief Washington correspondent, George Stephanopoulos, is joining us. As Jake just said, the president was worried that this would, in effect, hand the terrorists an opportunity to inflame sentiment against the United States. But he didn't say that a month ago. He didn't believe that a month ago, apparently. So what's behind the switch?
Well, a couple of things have changed, Charlie. The White House argues that, first of all, the president did realize he could make new legal arguments. The second is these commanders came in hard on the president. General Odierno in Iraq, General McKiernan in Afghanistan, General Petraeus, and they said, you are harming our troops. The president was convinced by this argument. But what I think you see here is that there has been a tension between the president's desire for a clean break from the past and his continuing responsibilities as commander-in-chief. He's siding increasingly with his responsibilities as commander-in-chief.
But this is a case in court. The courts had ordered the White House to release these photos. Now they're going to try not to release them. Do they think they can win this case?
They think they have a fighting chance, and one of the new things they're going to do is try to get affidavits from the commanders on the ground that make this argument. But even if this doesn't succeed, Charlie, what the White House and its allies believe is the president would have shown that as commander-in-chief, he's going the extra mile for his troops.
All right, George Stephanopoulos, thanks very much. An FBI supervisory agent, by the way, told Congress today that he witnessed CIA interrogation methods on terror suspects that were, in his words, borderline torture. Testifying behind a screen to protect his identity, he called the methods ineffective, unreliable, and harmful. But the agent conceded he was unable to say categorically that no useful information came from using those techniques. Now the economy and new indications the recession hangs on. Retail sales went down in April by 0.4%. It's the second month in a row that consumers have cut back on spending. And the report sent Wall Street into a slide. The Dow Industrials fell 184 points. The NASDAQ lost 52. Here's Betsy Stark.
The consumer spending strike that helped push the economy off a cliff last fall dragged on last month.
When I'm buying only necessities, only what I need.
Americans are not quite as panicked as they were a few months ago.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
But even those still collecting paychecks say they worry about pink slips.
It's always a constant in the back of my mind that I could still lose my job.
The fear of unemployment is the elephant in the retail store. You know, people want to buy, they've got that urge to splurge, but there is very much a concern. I might lose my job or somebody else in my house may lose their job.
Americans are also spending less because they're feeling less wealthy. The falling value of their homes has translated into falling sales of merchandise for the home. Spending on furniture down more than 14%, appliances down 12%, garden supplies down more than 10%. Even the luxury market is suffering. Today on New York's Madison Avenue, we counted 17 empty storefronts on a 20-block stretch studded with designer boutiques.
You're seeing people who were billionaires who perhaps are now half billionaires. And while clearly they could go on spending at the same pace they did before, they too do feel poorer, and it does affect what they're willing to spend.
Analysts who study consumer spending habits say they do see one light at the end of this tunnel. According to a survey of shoppers released today, 1 in 4 consumers now say after cutting back for months, they're ready to splurge. Some on a vacation, some on a night out, some on something new to wear. Charlie.
All right, Betsy Stark reporting tonight. Thanks. The White House issued its first quarterly report on the effects so far of the economic stimulus program. Only 3% of the $787 billion program has gone out, mostly to pay for medical assistance programs. The White House says 150,000 jobs have already been created or saved and claims another 600,000 jobs will be in the next 100 days. In space today, they got it. Astronauts on the space shuttle Atlantis rendezvoused with the Hubble telescope and grabbed it in the most delicate of maneuvers. And now 5 days of equally difficult tasks lie ahead as the crew gives Hubble an overhaul. Ryan Owens is at the Johnson Space Center.
I'm just looking out the window here, and it's an unbelievably beautiful sight.
As astronauts approach the ailing Hubble telescope today for the first time in 7 years, a sense of awe and of relief.
Amazingly, the exterior of Hubble, an old man of 19 years in space, still looks in fantastic shape.
Traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, Shuttle Atlantis used its 55-foot robotic arm to grab the telescope in its orbit 350 miles above Earth. One wrong move and Hubble would be lost forever. But today, success. Rookie Megan MacArthur guided the telescope into the shuttle's cargo bay for those badly needed repairs. It's a move she's practiced for almost 2 years.
I put the end of the arm over top of that grapple fixture and pull a trigger, and that's sort of my big whew moment, you know, and sort of look around and take a breath. But
that will be a short breath. Beginning tomorrow, the 7 crew members will tackle the riskiest part of their mission, 5 days of grueling back-to-back spacewalks in less than ideal conditions. The Hubble's orbit is filled with dangerous space debris. One hit could be catastrophic. It will be a series of delicate surgeries to give the telescope new cameras, new gyroscopes, even new batteries. All so that eye in the sky can keep giving us those pictures that have stunned scientists and taught us so much about our universe. Late this afternoon, a bit of a scare here at Mission Control in Houston. A close call for the space shuttle. A 4-inch piece of an old Chinese satellite came within 2 miles of the space shuttle. That happened just as the astronauts were preparing to go to sleep for the night. A bit of excitement, but it's all clear now. Charlie?
Ryan Owens down at the Johnson Space Center. A warning to the maker of a popular cereal is calling attention to an issue with a lot of foods on your supermarket shelves, foods that come with health claims. Federal regulators have just gone after General Mills, the company behind Cheerios, for touting its cholesterol-lowering benefits. So what's wrong with that? Here's John McKenzie.
In the commercials,
I'm going to lower my cholesterol.
And on the boxes, the Cheerios health claims make it sound as though this is so much more than a breakfast cereal.
Help lower your cholesterol 4% in just 6 weeks with Cheerios cereal.
To the government, those claims were so specific and unproven that they constituted serious violations of federal law.
They cannot make a claim which is essentially a disease treatment claim on a food. If they do that, then they have to become a drug.
The government insists that Cheerios labeling must now be changed promptly, or the product can be seized. But a trip down any supermarket aisle and you quickly realize Cheerios is just one of many products making health claims. Manufactured foods that promise a healthier life. So where's the problem? The Food and Drug Administration does allow companies to say, as part of an overall healthful diet, some foods can help reduce the risk of disease. But a company cannot suggest they are some kind of magic bullet, or that by itself, a food can reduce the risk of a specific illness. But it appears more and more companies are now crossing the line.
There are many companies making misleading health claims on food products following a decade of essentially non-enforcement.
Among the more controversial claims, Diamond Walnuts says its omega-3 fatty acids reduce heart disease. But it's not the type of omega-3 proven to be effective. Or Quaker Oats oatmeal, which claims to cut cholesterol levels without enough emphasis on the need for an overall healthful diet.
So the Quaker claim is just another exaggeration that we hope the FDA stops.
Helping consumers separate so many health claims from the hype. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
And still ahead on World News, Republican infighting straining the party. Familiar faces battling over the GOP's future. That'll be our closer look. Births to unwed women hit a record high. What's behind the skyrocketing rate? And from a hobby fixing cars to repairing the Hubble telescope, how the astronauts prepared for their historic rescue mission.
This is World News with Charles Gibson. Brought to you by Ortho Weed Be Gone.
Okay, maybe it was my fault.
She told me to kill the weeds.
And you did, along with the grass.
I used the wrong stuff.
Oh, there were dead spots everywhere.
This is the right stuff. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. It kills weeds down to the root, even the tough ones like dandelion and crabgrass.
Yeah, but unlike that other stuff, it won't kill the grass. Ortho guarantees it. Kill the weeds, not the lawn.
Weeds, not lawn.
You got it?
Yeah. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max.
Defend what's yours.
SPF measures UVB rays, not UVA rays. Rays that can cause skin damage and even skin cancer. That's why Neutrogena created Ultra Sheer with Helioplex for the highest combined UVA-UVB protection. Get the best. Neutrogena Ultra Sheer.
There's a big reason to lower high cholesterol. Dangerous plaque that can build up in arteries. It's called atherosclerosis, or athero, and high cholesterol is a major factor. But Crestor can help slow the buildup of plaque in arteries. Go to arterytour.com and take an interactive tour to learn how plaque builds up. And then ask your doctor if Crestor is right for you. Along with diet, Crestor does more than lower bad cholesterol and raise good. Crestor is proven to slow the buildup of plaque in arteries. Crestor isn't for everyone, like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests will check for liver problems. You should tell your doctor about other medicines you're taking, or if you have muscle pain or weakness, that could be a sign of serious side effects. Learn more about plaque buildup at arterytour.com. Then ask your doctor if it's time for Crestor.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Excedrin PM. What ache?
She's losing her battle against nasal allergies, but we found a way to fight it.
Amaris to the nose!
Amaris works differently than many other allergy medications. Omneris fights nasal allergy symptoms that occur from allergic inflammation. Relieve those symptoms with Omneris. Side effects may include headache, nosebleed, and sore throat. Mission accomplished. Oh, incoming! Ask your doctor about Omneris. In the battle against nasal allergy symptoms, Omneris combats the cause.
We're going to take a closer look at an intense debate in the Republican Party, whether it can attract new voters by becoming more conservative or more moderate. The number of voters who have left the party is growing. In 2003, 31% of Americans identified themselves as Republican, 31% as Democrat. Now, only 1 in 5 say they are a Republican. So how does the party stem that tide? Here's Jonathan Karl.
Dick Cheney seems to be everywhere.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney here in his first television interview. The former Vice President is in the studio with us this morning.
Mr. Vice President, welcome. Always good to have you.
The most visible Republican in the country these days, declaring his preference for Rush Limbaugh over Colin Powell.
Well, if I had to choose in terms of being a Republican, I'd go with Rush Limbaugh, I think.
And Rush is returning the favor.
The left is out to destroy Dick Cheney. They're afraid of Dick Cheney. They are afraid of me.
The problem for Republicans right now is the party doesn't seem big enough for conservatives like Limbaugh and moderates like Colin Powell and Senator Arlen Specter, who just bolted the party.
That if the Republican Party does not expand its tent, it's going to turn into a circus. And it's going to become a minority freak show that sort of features Rush Limbaugh and Dick Cheney.
One of the few recent bright spots for Republicans is in Florida, where popular Governor Charlie Crist just announced he's running for Senate.
And I think that regardless of party, we have to work together to get things done.
Crist is facing stiff opposition from conservatives who are outraged he supported President Obama's stimulus plan. But Senator Lindsey Graham says more moderate is exactly what the party needs.
I don't want to be a party of angry white guys sitting in the corner that nobody listens to, and we can't change the nation's policies or be relevant to the future of our nations.
For his part, Cheney, like Limbaugh, rejects the idea that the party needs to be more moderate to win.
Yeah, I think we will, but I think we'll do it by being true to our principles, not becoming more like the Democrats.
But Democrats shouldn't get overconfident. The last time Republicans were in this big a hole was the late 1970s. Jimmy Carter was in the White House, and Republicans came roaring back just a couple years later with the Reagan Revolution. Jonathan Karl, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Our closer look for tonight. And coming up, unwed mothers giving birth at a record rate.
When morning comes in the middle of the night, it affects your entire day. To get a good night's sleep, try 2-layer Ambient CR. The first layer dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep. And unlike other sleep aids, a second dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. When taking Ambient CR, don't drive or operate machinery. Sleepwalking and eating or driving while not fully awake with memory loss for the event, as well as abnormal behaviors such as being more outgoing or aggressive than normal, confusion, agitation, and hallucinations may occur. Don't take it with alcohol as it may increase these behaviors. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur and in rare cases may be fatal. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. In patients with depression, worsening of depression, including risk of suicide, may occur. If you experience any of these behaviors or reactions, contact your doctor immediately. Wake up ready for your day. Ask your healthcare provider for 2-layer Ambient CR.
Can't stop weeding? Then apply Preen for gardens. In just one application, Preen prevents weeds for 3 months. Stop weeds with Preen. Preen works so you don't have to.
This is the AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan card. You know what's great about this card? Wherever you go, nationwide, your coverage travels with you. And that's just one of the many reasons you need the card you can trust. Because with AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans, you can apply year-round, talk with personal health insurance advisors, and so much more. If you're turning 65 or older, or you've already enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan, call for this free information kit and Medicare guide. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP. These plans, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, help cover some of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare alone. This could save you thousands of dollars. Want your choice of doctors or hospitals, virtually no claim forms, and no referrals needed to see a specialist? Call for your free kit. Yep, this is one great card.
It's Neo to go. Ready, aim, protect. Neosporin gives you infection protection and pain relief. Neo to go plus pain relief. Every cut, every time, everywhere.
Tomorrow, the U.S. sends millions of dollars worth of drugs to fight AIDS in Africa. So why is it all going up in smoke? The thriving black market for AIDS drugs. Tomorrow on ABC's World News with Charles Gibson.
The Coast Guard says at least 9 people have died in a boating disaster off the Florida coast. The victims were among approximately 30 migrants trying to get into the U.S. from Haiti and the Bahamas. They were thrown into the water when their boat capsized about 15 miles from Boynton Beach, Florida. A striking statistic caught our attention today and had some of us amazed. The government reports that 40% of the babies born in the United States in 2007, 4 out of 10, were born to unwed mothers. The rate has doubled since 1980, and as Sharon Alfonsi reports, there are some surprising reasons for it.
21-year-old Tiare England loves being a mom, but she isn't sure being a wife is in the cards.
When you found out you were pregnant, did you think, oh, now I've got to get married?
No.
No. No pressure?
No pressure to get married.
Researchers believe it's women like England, not teenagers, who are behind the rise in unwed mothers. Since 2002, the numbers of unwed teenage mothers has been steady or on the decline, but the number of women in their 20s having a baby on their own is up 13%, and the number of unwed mothers in their 30s has jumped 34%.
These aren't women running to the sperm bank with an empty cup in their hand. These are women who may be in relationships. For the majority of them, they are unplanned pregnancies.
Dr. Taisha Benjamin is a pediatrician at the Ryan Community Health Center on Manhattan's Lower East Side. She's seen a spike in 20 and 30-year-old unwed mothers at the clinic. But not all of them are going it alone. One study shows about half of unwed mothers live with their children's father.
In many senses, they look a lot like married parent families. 2 parents to share in the child care, 2 parents to share in expenses, 2 parents to share in housework.
2 parents that aren't married. England is studying to become a nurse and confident she can carve out a good life for her and her daughter Madison.
So now that she's here, you're not hearing wedding bells at all?
No. I don't want to get married anytime soon. If it happens, but I'm not planning it or excited about it.
Like a lot of single mothers, she says she's got all the excitement she can handle. Sharon Alfonsi, ABC News, New York.
And up next, making the leap from amateur auto mechanic to spacewalking astronaut.
They tickle, they tease, and you sneeze. Maybe it's time to ask your doctor about Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair blocks leukotrienes, an underlying cause of nasal allergy symptoms. And that's how Singulair works differently. 1 pill, once a day. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat allergies.
Announcing the Ford Advantage Plan, a better plan to get you into a new, quality-built Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury. Today, while others say there's no credit available, Ford Credit says there is. Financing as low as 0% APR. Check for pre-approval now at Ford.com. And with the Ford Advantage, if you lose your paycheck, we'll make your payments for up to 12 months. Quality, credit, and payment protection. That's the Ford Advantage Plan. Visit your Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
Everything that goes into Mrs. Dash, all those natural herbs and spices, is just as important as what doesn't. No salt, no MSG. Mrs. Dash, salt-free, flavorful.
I'm Lindy. And I'm Joni. We've been best friends since we were 2. We've always been alike.
We even both have osteoporosis, but we're active, especially when we vacation. So when I heard about Reclass, the only once-a-year IV osteoporosis treatment, I called Joni.
My doctor said Reclass helps re-strengthen our bones to help make them resistant to fracture for 12 whole months.
And Reclast is approved to help protect from fracture in more places. Hips, spine, even other bones.
You should not take Reclast if you're on Zometa, have low blood calcium, kidney problems, or you're pregnant, plan to become pregnant, or nursing. Take calcium and vitamin D daily. Tell your doctor if you develop severe muscle, bone, or joint pain, or if you have dental problems, as rarely job problems have been reported. The most common side effects include flu-like symptoms, fever, muscle or joint pain, and headache.
Nothing strengthens you like an old friendship. But when it comes to our bones, we both look to Reclast. You gotta ask your doctor. Once a year Reclast. Year-long protection for on-the-go women.
What's that smell? Take control of trash odors with Glad Odor Shield. Special technology embedded in the whole bag neutralizes odors. Your kitchen stays fresh. Glad Odor Shield. What smell? Now available in lemon scent.
Self-defense training that can help save anyone, even kids. We'll show you the life-saving techniques.
And a story breaking as we speak. We're tracking the case of a local missing woman. What's happening right now with that search? We'll have an update just minutes away.
What every mother fears most, your newborn switched at birth. Tomorrow, how these two women, after 56 years, discovered they'd been taken home by the wrong family. Hear from them for the first time, how they found the truth and each other. A GMA exclusive tomorrow. And go to abcnews.com to get Diane, Robin, and the best of GMA on your iPhone.
Finally tonight, it's hard to imagine what it would be like to repair the incredibly complex Hubble telescope, much less do it in zero gravity wearing a bulky spacesuit. But what if it were a bit like tinkering with a classic car in your garage? One astronaut who will fix the Hubble makes that comparison. Ned Potter has been following all the preparations for this rescue mission.
A good view of the 43.5-foot high observatory.
How do you get ready to fly 300 miles out in space and repair the Hubble telescope? This is how, when you take your son's go-kart racing, you have to stay on the sideline. Drew Feustel is one of the 4 spacewalkers assigned to work on the Hubble.
Close your eyes. Go right now. Close your eyes. See, it'll look like just like that. Don't worry. Gary, we'll get you a nightlight.
Feustel grew up in love with cars, made money during college by restoring old ones, and gave this 66 Austin Healey to his wife, Indy.
He tells me that he told me when we were dating that he wanted to be an astronaut, and I honestly don't remember that. And then later when we moved to Houston, he started talking about it more, and he's like, don't you remember I told you? I'm like, no.
His day job is to make 3 spacewalks, installing new gyroscopes so the telescope can point with precision.
You know, I'm probably no better than most backyard mechanics at some of these things. I like getting in there and putting my hands on all the tools and having a go at it.
But at night before the flight, you could often find him out in the garage, messing with his BMW M3.
Honestly, when I come and work on these things, the first thing that comes into my head is this is currency training. I mean, to me, this is part of my training.
Yes, he said training. Feustel has a doctorate in geophysics, but for the Hubble repair, he and his crewmates mostly play the role of mechanic.
A lot of what we do is keeping things going in space.
You are going to see some arm movement.
And some of what they do in space is inspired by what they do at home.
The long device that Mike's holding now that pulls the rate sensing units in and out of the telescope was derived from a combination of something from Home Depot and a toy in my son's toy box.
Right now in orbit, Feustel is traveling 17,000 miles an hour. Faster than any car he's ever touched. Ned Potter, ABC News, Houston.
And tomorrow, the astronauts will start having a go at it. The first of the spacewalks comes tomorrow. And that is World News for this Wednesday. I'm Charlie Gibson, and I hope you had a good day. For all of us at ABC News, have a good night.
Tonight,
Jack has a bomb. He could kill everyone on the island.
the Lost season finale event
Saw you look at her.
I'm with you is finally here.
Are you with me on this?
ABC's Lost, the season finale event tonight starting 8/7 Central on ABC.
We're following breaking news on the Oregon coast. How searchers are going to new lengths to find a missing 78-year-old woman.
Vancouver teachers take the first steps toward training kids to fight back, all in response to a teenage girl's murder in Hazeldale.
Recycling overload. Why some say Oregon's new e-cycling law is working too well.
From K2 News, this is a breaking news alert.
We do have some breaking news as we follow what's being done right now to find a missing woman in Tillamook. Searchers are getting ready to go to new lengths to find the 78-year-old woman who has not been seen since yesterday morning. Good evening. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We have live team coverage of the search. Meteorologist Rod Hill will have more on the weather conditions there.
But we begin with K2's Dan Tilkin in Tillamook County. So, Dan, what's happening now with the search?
Well, just about 5 minutes ago,